Well, it's here. Will Sims 4 Adventure Awaits be an expansion pack with great gameplay or a total letdown? Now, it feels like just yesterday we got the Sims 4 Enchanted by Nature expansion pack, honestly, but already the reveal trailer for the next expansion pack, Adventure Awaits, is here. So these purely are my initial reactions and opinions. I promise I will do some follow up, and of course, as always, I would love to hear your own thoughts in the comments below. With that said, let's go ahead and get into the reveal trailer and see what we think. The start of the trailer is absolutely fantastic. I love that we're going to be able to kayak, and there actually looks like a hidden area. There's also an exercise class, there's butterfly catching, and there's also a geyser where you can take pictures. I love that we're getting more water activities. I did wish there was a two-person kayak, but that aside, we also have a pool slide, an imaginary friend, which I do hope it's optional because I know some people hate them, but it looks pretty good to me. Now, the main mechanic is you're going to be able to schedule getaways. There is, however, a camp of sorts for Sims, for children. Again, I just wonder what the mechanics are going to be like, how well it's going to work, and just how much gameplay it's going to add. We also have new playground material. Now, in my opinion, we should get some of this in the base game. I know that is always an area of contention, but Sims 4 doesn't have very many playground things, and this is in high demand. I love that children are getting a spotlight. I feel like children just don't have that much gameplay in Sims 4, and adding archery to this as well is fantastic. I would be interested to see what happens if you actually miss. Could you actually hit a children's sim? I kind of doubt it. Now, we do know this child grows up to be the camp counselor, so camp counselor could be an active career. All this looks very interesting. There's a smoothie machine of sorts, which I did guess we were getting, and as you can see here, you can also schedule getaways for adult sims. And there is a spin class, and there also are free weights. So with this, it does make sense to me. Some people are saying, why are we getting fitness equipment? But it makes sense because it's going along with the whole retreat system. Again, I'm a little skeptical of this actually being a new feature because even though there does seem to be themes of retreats, I question, can't we already do this already? Now, when we look at these getaways, so to speak, again, like I said, there does seem to be some themes. This to me almost looks like the Bachelor Challenge. This is a challenge modifier. This is the romantic competition. So again, this is a Bachelor Challenge. I myself once did this on my channel way back in the day, but my question is, do you really need a pack to do the Bachelor Challenge? Moving on, you can create your own custom getaways, and honestly, the build buy looks pretty interesting. There's also a water woohoo. All in all, it does look nice. I think there are some elements that really interest me, but I also question how much of this is truly new material. So let's just go back a little bit because I know that was really quick. This to me looks like a cavern place of some sort. It looks like there could be some mystical elements to this as well. I'm very curious about this. The only thing I will say, as interesting as this looks visually, I feel like we've covered this theme so many times. That is a forgotten or secret place with water where something magical can happen. While I like this element individually, I do feel like we're recycling ideas. I do like that you can swim here and you can also fish. Something I've noticed about this trailer is they are showing some realm of functionality, and they're pointing out to different places you can actually do things in the world. I do think they do pay attention to people criticizing that, but that doesn't mean there aren't going to be shells and empty areas too. I also want to point out there are going to be waterfront lots. Having waterfront lots is fantastic. We don't have a lot of that in Sims 4, and again, I will say the build buy looks decent. I only say decent because I don't know if it feels terribly unique, but it also looks better than a lot of packs we've been getting recently, in my humble opinion. I also love that we can kayak, but again, it does look like the kayaks are just for one sim. Having two-person kayaks would be fantastic. Imagine going on a date and having a two-person kayak. Unfortunately, I do think it's just one kayak, but wouldn't it be great if there were actual activities with the kayaks, not just going out, but even racing each other? We love kayak races, but again, I get a little bit ambitious and I have to remind myself, unfortunately, this is Sims 4. Again, I know some arguments are going to come up on it should have come in this pack or that pack. We can definitely have those conversations in the future. If you want to leave them now, that's totally fine too. I'm not gonna lie, I'm happy to get new gym equipment, and I would say, even though people said this doesn't belong whatsoever, I understand at least how it's getting into the theme. It doesn't feel totally random, but I do understand the critique too. I'm also guessing the lighthouse has a woohoo spot if I had to guess. Now, I know the imaginary friend is very polarizing, so I would would say it should be optional where you actually have to go out and purchase this imaginary friend, and then it's also up to you if it comes to life. One thing I'm not sure about is if you can turn the imaginary sim eventually into a regular sim like you could in the third Sims game. Let me know also what you think about the appearance of the imaginary friend. Honestly, imaginary friends always look a little scary to me, even though I like them. I do think this fits the aesthetic for Sims 4, but it also terrifies me at the same time. Personally, I don't mind a little terror in my Sims 4 game, especially since it's kind of dull sometimes. But let me know what you think about this design, because I know there's going to be a lot of discourse. I will say again, I need to know more about the camp right here. I want to know what the dynamics are going to be like. Is there going to be a schedule for the camp? What is it going to be like to play as a child versus a camp counselor? I do understand that this alone, some people would say, should have been a smaller pack, and we can also have those conversations too. In addition, I won't lie, this playground equipment looks pretty good, and this is just great to see overall. I'm not saying I know it should have been in this pack, I'll have to really think about that, but do I think that the playground equipment looks really great? Actually, I do. It looks very interesting, and this would be so useful for community lots. I feel like we've been getting the same rinse and recycle of playground equipment, aka swings, for so long. In addition, it looks like there are going to be new games to play. It looks like there's some sort of rock, paper, scissors, and also a hide and seek, maybe with a box. I would have loved to see something like capture the flag or other camp activities, but again, it does also depend on what world it's based. I will just reiterate, I have no idea yet. I have no idea yet what all the activities are. My biggest fear is that it's going to sound cool on paper, but not actually work. Think back to My Wedding Disasters, where there are tons of activities you can plan, but the Sims may or may not actually follow them. Again, I'm not saying it's going to be bad, it could be great, but it's just a word of caution. I would also add, if nothing else, it looks like we're also getting tons of clutter in this pack. If you love clutter, maybe this is also a plus. This does look very lived in and interesting, it just probably would add to lag in your game, just a heads up. I do think that the build buy again is not exceptional, but I also kind of like it. While the build buy will go along with other packs, it's also not just exactly the same. And I will say, if nothing else, it also looks like we're getting lots of new pole equipment. I love we're getting a new pole slide and also just ways to decorate our poles. I do hope some of this comes in the base game, but again, I have no idea what the base game is going to entail. Looks to me like there's a schedule of sorts when you go to a retreat. The question is, are you able to follow the schedule, and is it actually going to work? And also, do you have to follow the schedule? I'm very interested to see how this is all going to work. I just hope that retreats work really well and don't add issues to the game. Again, my question is, do you think this adds actual new gameplay or not? As always, we also have a blog post to learn a little bit more about this expansion pack. So Gibby Point is the world in which we're excited to introduce the new getaway system with custom venues and a getaway planner, expanded childhood content including new sentiments and a playground builder, new activities, traits, careers, objects, challenges, and more. So again, it's great to get new traits, of course, and sentiments. That should be a plus, but I will say the challenges is the part I have a trouble with. I feel like they're so focused on looking at what is popular challenges in the community. As always, there are 3 new neighborhoods. The Wilds is a leafy haven laced with forest trails, erupting geysers, and a whisper of mystery. Crystal Valley is sparkling rock formations ignite the imagination, while Jellyfish Junction is a waterfront wonderland with glistening lagoon and locals that adore their jellyfish. So that was jellyfish, I totally missed that. Every adventure brimming neighborhood is anchored by its own unforgettable getaway. Sims can fish in streams and campfire stories at Camp Gibby Gibby. They can recharge their body and mind at the Revive and Thrive in Jellyfish Junction, or spark romance at Cozy Retreat of Love Highland in Crystal Valley. It's also going to be boardwalk festivals. I have no problem with festivals. I have no problem with quests. I will say, I feel like the last many packs have done the same things, and I just want to see some new additions. While these could be fun in this pack alone, I do feel like they've almost got a formula down for these expansion packs where you have a couple districts and you have some quests and you have some festivals and you call it a day. The magic of play begins in childhood. An adventure awaits. Child Sims can shape their personality and skills through formative moments, new traits, and evolving childhood sentiments that influence experiences into adulthood. The question here is, what is the grand difference between this and growing together dynamics? Let young Sims Sims explore papercraft, that's cool, archery, diving, and even entomology, and even build sprawling playgrounds to make adventures more thrilling. They can also enjoy classic games like hide and seek or rock, paper, and scissors and take on challenges that build confidence and connection. One element I feel is very promising is the social dynamics. For example, if your childhood sim isn't a cool kid on the block, a new aspiration, they are having trouble making friends, try imaginary ones. Choose from 4 distinct dolls and 4 unique personalities, including goofball, creative, competitive, and evil. I'm excited about the evil one. Each one will interact and bond with their sim in their own special way. For adults at Gibby Point, wrinkles and gray hair may be optional, playtime is not. This place is full of adventures, thrills, and new activities, like kayaking, water sliding, and working out. For the truly outdoorsy, the new park worker career offers 2 paths. You can be a camp counselor or a park ranger. While I will say getting new workout equipment is excellent, working out itself a new feature? Absolutely not. If the established getaways don't fill your adventure, you can design your own and play by your own rules. With new features, custom menus, and getaways, you can craft unique experiences for your Sims and their friends. They can last a day or more and be anything from restful to challenging. Schedule activities that help your Sims recharge and meet new friends. You can also apply rules to your getaway. Elimination rules have Sims competing to outlast each other. Build and decorate your unique custom menus however you want and decide what activities are going to be there. I understand how this all ties into the community. I understand how they are going on at popular themes. But what really is getting to me is it feels like these packs are introducing ideas where we can already accomplish them in our game. Honestly, I like a lot of what I'm seeing in this pack individually. Love the new gameplay items. It does appeal to me, and this does interest me more than the past couple packs. On the other hand, I'm reading this and it just feels like we keep doing the same type of ideas. That includes from festivals to quests and also just building your own venues and activities. I don't know what it is, I think this needs to be a bigger discussion, but I feel like Sims 4 is really going in a formula state, and they include these different elements and that's pretty much what they do. Of course, I do like when they team up with Simmers, this gives us better builds, and I'm not going to complain about that whatsoever. We're going to be having community events, which is nothing new. We're going to be having challenges. The devs are actually going to do a Q&A several times. Developer Q&As unfortunately are all on Discord, but if I can catch them, I will, and I will report on what they say. All in all, this is interesting. I don't know how to feel about this pack. I need more information, but like I said, I like the pack itself in a way, but I feel like in context of Sims 4 overall, I am kind of disappointed we keep refreshing certain ideas. So let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. Again, mixed emotions from me. I will say I think this looks way better than the past expansion pack, and it does excite me in a way. But on the other hand, I definitely also have misgivings. As always, thanks so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.